We've only got one match to concentrate on now, which is SIB versus WHAZ. What's your take on this?
I mean, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, right? SIB obviously very hungry to get back into the Quake Pro League. He's been working hard and he's looking ready to go as well. As we've got the picks and bans ahead of us, looks like Veil and Blood Covenant were removed. And WHAZ actually going with the clutch ban. SIB talked to me about that a few days ago, saying that he'd been practicing the clutch a little bit, like kind of not out in the open really, but the word got out, and so WHAZ just didn't want to take any risk and got rid of the robots straight away. So that means that we've got Ranger versus Eisen on Corrupted Keep first.
Yes, we do, and Corrupted Keep is a map where WHAZ can really use that aggression and pace to his advantage. It's the way he likes to play. Normally we would see potentially the more heavy movement-based champions coming out, things like Anarchy and Slash, but a Ranger is just as good to move around the map in that sense, and so...
Jacketless, I feel like you've let us all down, but hopefully this game will not let us down. It's time for WHAZ taking on SIB. Fleas, NSX, take it away.
Yeah, straight into Corrupted Keep.
Yeah.
Here we go, off the bat. We have WHAZ picking up that heavy armor, but at the same time, SIB did pick up the Mega and it's an even split. Off the fight, but we're straight into a brawl. Rockets going on, but not too much damage coming out either side.
Yeah, good play from WHAZ, because he did manage to deny the rockets to SIB, and that is of course an important weapon on Corrupted Keep, doing a decent amount of damage. Actually, SIB on the run, he doesn't have the same weaponry to take that long distance fight. WHAZ looping back around, he needs the LG, but he knows he's done a lot of damage. Can he finish SIB off? SIB running for his life.
Yeah, no need to push in too fast, as I said. He's just trying to rocket jump up. He still has the orb available if he needs it, but decides to back off. He does have a bit of time to get over to that Mega if he needs to. SIB will still be low because he hasn't had an awful lot of time to pick up any armor. He still hasn't got the rocket though. This is a really big opportunity for WHAZ here to just dominate this map.
That exit from the LG just isn't working for SIB. He's taken so much heavy machine gun damage both times that he had to get out of the room, and now WHAZ finally getting his hands on the LG 1 minute into the game. Clearly WHAZ having the upper hand right now. SIB trying to play a little bit more passively, trying to find some of those small armors that he desperately needs.
Yeah, WHAZ could have gone for that Mega. If I was him, that would have been the preferable option, but playing it safe. As the game settles down now, Flea, we didn't get an awful lot of time to talk about the matchup. What do you think of this Eisen pick?
The item pick?
Eisen.
Oh, the Eisen pick. Okay, sorry about that. I mean, Eisen pick, it's interesting on a map like Corrupted Keep, right? There's definitely a few interesting places that you can use the turret well, like put it at the end of the teleporter, in the middle of the room during the fights. A lot of variety, and I think this definitely is one of the maps that Eisen works pretty well on.
Yeah, WHAZ not having any idea when that Mega is up. We saw him teasing it out, waiting for it to spawn, but SIB's done a good job now of stabilizing this, getting that rocket, and now we really are on even keel. WHAZ does get the timing, that's big.
Yeah, I'm actually a little less certain about WHAZ's pick. Ranger is not the kind of champion you see all that often on this map, because the mobility advantage that you get out of the orb really isn't that high, but here we go. SIB setting up a trap, WHAZ completely taken off guard. This is a massive fight. WHAZ breaking away, the turret is still there dealing damage. SIB, can he push this? Now also decides to play a little save. Oh, here we go! That's the first frag of the Stage 2 finals, and it is going to SIB.
I was about to say, I have no idea how no one's died, but SIB does manage to sneak around, and this time he has got WHAZ cornered. He should be able to push him for a kill, but WHAZ is doing an awful lot of damage from range. SIB not hitting as much as he needs to, and pushing in with that lightning gun. Pretty even now, backing off there. SIB still in a good position on the upper ground, controlling the rocket area. That's one of the key moments on this map, is ensuring you can isolate your opponent away from that rocket, because if they can't get access to it, they just cannot afford to take any fights against you. And this is why we see WHAZ not really being able to exit safely. Yeah,
he did manage to get away with the heavy though. Oh, that's an excellent rocket. WHAZ can't really push in. He's gonna do it anyways, using the orb to get the better positioning. Now Mega is up. WHAZ will just dive bomb it, and he is back in control. SIB taking a lot of machine gun damage once again. Has to get away. He's gonna get some information from the turret, but WHAZ with the flyby rocket to tie things up.
Yeah, I think SIB might be a little bit frustrated about that, because that's definitely not a kill WHAZ should have been getting. Like, he was trapped, he didn't have the rocket. SIB, his positioning was not good enough to prevent WHAZ from just stealing both major items and the rocket.
Oh yeah, and also
position he shouldn't have been in.
And also that opening rocket, SIB hit the direct, and WHAZ just didn't care at all, pushed in regardless. SIB will be taking away the Mega, and I think he picked it up just after that rocket, so he's quite healthy. LG trying to push away WHAZ. This is a bad situation for either player. SIB, WHAZ kind of overextending there, right? He seemed to have the upper hand at the start, but then he pushed too far into the room and didn't have a clear path out.
Yeah, I mean, this whole playstyle from WHAZ at the moment seems like a little bit of a lack of respect, because it's, as we're on the wrong UI, he's not giving SIB the respect he deserves in terms of placed on. I think this comes back to what you're saying. They might have been practicing together, and online perhaps WHAZ is able to take full control, but when it comes to this map, he's just showing no respect, and it's not paying off just yet, as SIB is in control here, able to pick up and isolate WHAZ in that heavy armor area, as we are on SIB's pod. WHAZ, once again, just wrong place, wrong time. And it does feel to me that SIB's strategy in this sense is understanding on what WHAZ wants to do. So this is why we see SIB's not committing for the items. He's just backing off. He's fully appreciated what WHAZ wants to do and seems to be just controlling the map a lot better.
Yep. Next item up is heavy. Both players slowly heading towards that major item. SIB has the better positioning, but WHAZ actually doing some nice damage over there. I really like WHAZ's use of the heavy machine gun so far. I think it's probably been his most damaging weapon. Look at that. Every single opportunity he gets, he just pellets SIB with those 15s, and is really working out for him in terms of damage. But SIB, as you said, he's got the better control of the map, and so he can easily eat right back up and heal away the pain.
Yeah. It's stabilizing now, 3-1, but we do 5 minutes to go on this map is a long time. I do fear for SIB if WHAZ is able to get control, because although SIB is in the lead, and then as we said, has kind of been retrospectively playing this map better, he hasn't been able to pick up anywhere near as many major items. So although WHAZ is pushing him rather recklessly, he is getting the major items, which kind of nullifies SIB's advantage to a little bit. But we can see SIB is just playing that positional game, whereas WHAZ is just crazily charging through the map. Oh, wow, what a rocket there. WHAZ still going in for some reason, comes away with the kill. That was, again, a very ballsy move, but this time it does pay off.
Yeah, let's see if he can make something out of it, because as you mentioned, this is a map where things can change quickly. One frag can easily snowball into quite a few, because you can just chain together those frags before your opponent really has a chance to get his bearings. If you play your cards right, looks like WHAZ is focused more on stacking right back up rather than changing frags or chasing frags, rather SIB landing a nice little rocket, but it is WHAZ who's got the stack.
Exactly, and it completely turned on its head because of the fact that SIB wasn't putting enough emphasis on preventing WHAZ from getting those major items. Yes, he had the better positioning. Yes, he had control, but WHAZ was the one making all the moves and just showing actually no respect, and SIB is going to go down here. Yes, he does a lot of damage, but there is time to pick up this heavy, restack on health, and once again, WHAZ will be coming out on top.
I hope for SIB's sake that he has timing on the Mega and that he can at least secure that, or deny it, rather.
Oh, he jumps off too early!
I don't think he had timing, and that's punishing LG right there. WHAZ now looking all the better, going back around, small armor denial as well. SIB landing a good amount of LG though. This is a close one. Oh, the tri-bolt around the corner. That was far too aggressive.
Yeah, yeah, it happened. One of those things where it was the right move, but this time SIB was able to stand his ground, but WHAZ pushing in. I mean, he even saw the turret, so that was just hugely risky. 3 minutes to go and he'll one frag in it. Maybe he thought it was worth it.
I think WHAZ just maybe isn't giving enough respect. Like, he's at the worst range for tri-bolt right now, and he just took 2 huge shots, and SIB will finish that one off. He, again, not showing the respect that SIB is due, peeking out at perfect tri-bolt range, and that's a lot of damage coming out right there. And now WHAZ, 3-5.
And this was WHAZ's pick as well, so he obviously went into this with a clear strategy in mind, of just wanting to bully SIB. And he's just charging at him, but SIB playing tactfully, backing off, but once again, he's not on time for that major item when he really had plenty of opportunity to get set up there. So SIB definitely needs to be playing more conscious effort of playing those major items, playing the basics like we said at the start of this game. Good chip damage coming out, meaning, once again, WHAZ is not as the stack as he needs, but can back off to that heavy. SIB is nowhere in sight.
SIB is using the turret very nicely as well. He constantly has it up when he takes these fights with WHAZ, and even if it's just a bullet or 2 free, it helps out a lot. That's 45-50 damage coming out of your turret. But WHAZ, again, closing the gap slightly. He's 1 frag behind. 2 minutes left to go on a map like Corrupted Keep. Absolutely possible. SIB now forced onto the defensive.
But this poor timing from SIB is really killing him. He tried to set up for that Mega 8 seconds early, and we all know what WHAZ is going to do. SIB knows what WHAZ is going to do. He needs to try and cut off those channels where WHAZ is pushing through, because WHAZ is just not relenting whatsoever. This time SIB does get the heavy and gets out relatively cleanly, but WHAZ is going to push in. He doesn't want to let up at all, but this time corners him and pushes back for the Mega. Bit more sensible from WHAZ.
Very good decision from WHAZ, because if he had pushed right there, I mean, it was a 50-50 shot, right? Both players had basically identical stack, the same weapon out, so that could have gone either way. Very clever decision from WHAZ to just back up, get the Mega health, because if he would have died there, that could have really been GG. With a minute 30 left, 2 frags down, this is a lot more doable.
This could be the frag as SIB is again quite early and WHAZ knows it.
Yep, good play from WHAZ, pushing SIB off the heavy, taking it for himself. Can he find his opponent though?
He can. SIB is stuck. He's really low. WHAZ is not going to relent here.
Oh, jumping a little bit too far. WHAZ, can SIB still get out?
Great rocket.
Oh, I think WHAZ might regret that. He just overstepped it a little bit and then he let SIB get out of the tiny corner he was hiding in. The pressure's on now. 30 seconds left to go. Where is SIB? Can WHAZ find him? He was right below him.
Wow. SIB is just playing like the gecko from the BBC series. Other programs are available, but nevertheless, I think only British guys might get that reference. SIB has managed to escape. He's just charging around, but can't find any light armor or heavy armor or mega health. SIB is just on the run for overtime right now.
WHAZ. Oh, there he goes. He's catches sight of SIB. Can he make the rocket jump up? Out comes the turret. WHAZ, he won't be able to find him. SIB gets out with a 1 frag lead. That was impressive from SIB. The dodging, the evasion, top tier.
Yeah, I mean, that was something else. I, for a moment there, thought it was 5-5 and SIB was just trying for his life, but I completely, just clocked out for a second. SIB, he didn't play perfectly. WHAZ overextended a huge amount of times. It was, again, I think it's a strategy thing where they had played together potentially a lot online, and he just felt that he could bully SIB on LAN, and it was working out to a degree, but I think that map should settle both of them down a little bit. WHAZ needs to go kind of look and reflect on the fact that he did make countless mistakes in pushing slightly too aggressively sometimes, whereas SIB needs to assert himself more on the map. I felt that his positioning was spot on. He was reacting to what WHAZ was doing in circumstances, but I just felt he could have been better placed to prevent WHAZ from pushing in as easily as he was a lot of the time.
Absolutely. I think SIB, he definitely didn't play a perfect game himself, but WHAZ just made so many mistakes and gave his opponent far too many opportunities, and SIB just ultimately, he managed to run away with that. Like, look at some of these situations. WHAZ just pushing in hyper-aggressively. Sometimes it works out for him, but very often it didn't.
Yeah, and if I'm playing right now and I'm looking at this, I wouldn't be that worried as WHAZ. Like, WHAZ made so many mistakes, but it was still a 5-4 game. He let SIB have all the positioning. He kind of just ran the map himself, took all the items and didn't feel any pressure. So if I'm WHAZ, just clean that up, round it a little bit, and you should be taking that map fairly comfortably. But on the counter, like, if I'm SIB now, that's 1 map under the belt. Like, you were feeling nervous coming into it. That's an amazing start.
This map, and just showed overwhelming firepower in every engagement. That might have really started eating away at SIB, but things definitely backfired as we're jumping into map 2. This is Molten Falls, and we're seeing our first Crouch Light champion of the day.
We do, and from SIB, we see the Visor, and this is a map where you can slow that tempo down, particularly using a Visor. If you can pick up enough of those time vials and keep a really strong uptime on your piercing sight, you can just maintain that distance game, and I think that's the tack SIB is going to go for, judging off of what we saw from Corrupted Keep, whereas WHAZ, we know what he likes to play. He does have that Crouch Slide champion. He loves to rail, so we're going to see a lot of fast-paced play coming out from WHAZ and a lot of railing, I'm guessing.
I really like the fact that SIB already used Peeker, because I feel like that's a common mistake when people use Strog. They just use him for the crouch light and to pick up the health bubbles that the opponents drop when they get a frag, but that just gives their opponent free reign of just cycling through all of the hourglasses. And here we go, we almost see our first frag. WHAZ reigning supreme so far. SIB escaping with a sliver of health, as WHAZ is just collecting some more items, decides not to deny the small armor right there.
Yep, and I just noticed I got the champions backwards. That's my bad. Nevertheless, the point still stands with regards to
absolutely
Visor in the vials. We can see, I think this is the 3rd piercing sight in the first minute and a half, might be the 2nd. So WHAZ putting a good emphasis on that, and it just gives you such an advantage when you can maintain those upside.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity though. WHAZ has not denied either of those 2 small armors, whereas he knew that SIB had nothing to work with in standard armor, but still he's letting SIB comfortably stack right back up. Like, all the armor that SIB has, WHAZ could have easily denied with just 1 nail gun at his feet earlier, but right now he's giving his opponent literally a way back into the match.
And we can already see a huge mistiming coming out of WHAZ there, but I guess appreciating now it has been picked up and should have a rough idea of when it is going to be again, respawning. He does have the piercing sight again, and that's a great opportunity to use it as SIB is stuck, which means WHAZ can also get across to the Mega if he's fast enough, unless SIB wants to push in, which would have been dangerous. If WHAZ committed there, we would have seen our big first fight. The picker comes out and he knows where he is. This engagement is big as WHAZ hits almost 2 directs and finishes up with a rail. Perfect play coming out from WHAZ there.
Oh yeah, the double rocket bouncing SIB up in the air and then the rail to finish it off. Excellent from WHAZ. We might see another engagement right here. SIB missing the rail. That would have opened up some avenues for him, but at least he's going to be able to collect that heavy armor. And now WHAZ, he knows more or less when the Mega is, has got the better position. Here we go, using the piercing sight sneakily. 1, 2, can't hit the third one. And SIB will get out alive for now.
And already we're seeing that rail come into play, emphasizing how much WHAZ likes it. It's been the core weapon in the first 3 minutes of this game. But WHAZ missing out on timing, that's something he shouldn't be doing at this stage in the game when he had such strong control after those rails. Again, he's quite early for this item and SIB knows it, pushing into those rockets. WHAZ is going to go down.
And SIB is even going to be able to collect the heavy right there. WHAZ, as you just mentioned, maybe a little bit too early to take the position on the item. I don't think it was so much a miss time, but rather just assuming he was safe when he really wasn't. SIB just using the peeker to get some information.
Ooh, that was close.
Yep, nice play. At least he knows exactly where WHAZ is right now. Rails are being exchanged. WHAZ has got the piercing side up. SIB can tell he takes so much damage, 2 HP. WHAZ no doubt wants to chase this, but instead, he decides to let his opponent live. That's a very Rafa-style play, you know, just not chasing, but rather prioritizing items and control.
Once again, WHAZ going to be too late for this Mega? He would have been. He's still not taking it. SIB obviously not sticking around to risk that when he really could have taken it and got out quite easily, but WHAZ has full control now. There's a good 10-second split on the items, more or less, which gives plenty of time to get between the two, no matter what champion you're playing.
Yeah.
So SIB has to play very carefully here, but WHAZ is pulling him, and that will be an easy kill going in for WHAZ to take the lead.
Yeah, and now WHAZ, he should be able to set up a very nice rotation. He's going to be able to deny the small armor too, gets himself heavy, 5 seconds to go to Mega. I think he realizes he's too late. He can't catch up with the stroke. That opponent has just got the raw speed. He's still gonna try and make a move. SIB, the defensive rockets have to be great right now.
Oh, that was super close. That last rocket just giving him enough hang time to sneak away. He wouldn't have died, would have put him very, very low indeed. We do have a little bit of time as both players now do push back to play a little bit safer. WHAZ not knowing where he is.
SIB sure as hell does. There he goes, jumping down on his prey with the LG out. WHAZ lands a nice rail though, but that rocket, the defensive rocket in retaliation, stacks are pretty similar. SIB's got a slight lead, but WHAZ has picked up the Mega right now, so and armor as well. WHAZ definitely the one with the better stack for the time being. That next major item, the heavy, is going to be an important one. I think both players feeling healthy enough to challenge for it, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this.
I'm also pretty sure that SIB heard that piercing sight, so feeling a bit more confident at pushing through those walkways. Although WHAZ did have a good protective space behind that pillar and is able to get out relatively cleanly as that rail just misses with the double jump. And they both come away cleanly. WHAZ not in a position to set up for Mega, but hits that rail, which means SIB has to be particularly careful.
Ooh, that's a bad miss. He had the piercing side up as well. That's not something you want to do at this level because it gives your opponent such free reign of the map. You can tell SIB right now pressuring out towards the center of the map a bit more, keeping that heavy behind him. He's got the timing, knows when to drop on it, and he knows that WHAZ has no possibility of contending.
No, and that light armor has gone as well. This one over on the Mega side also, so WHAZ is in a little bit of a predicament as he has lost out on both major items. Now railed, no piercing sight, WHAZ just have to run, and SIB knows it.
Yep, 50 HP, almost anything will kill him right now, but those defensive rockets, that's pretty good. SIB will end up tying things up 2-2. But WHAZ did a decent amount. Can he do anything into the peeker? Nope.
Oh, that was close.
The little duck, right? He crouched for a moment.
Yeah,
excellent play.
A little bit predictive from WHAZ coming out there because SIB read that like a book. The fact that WHAZ needed armor does get hit in that banana space. Both pretty hurt here. Nevertheless, WHAZ can just about pick up the Mega health.
He still hasn't taken it. There we go. He will get his hands on it, but I'm really impressed by WHAZ's defensive plays right now because SIB was outstacking him majorly, and yet he just managed to turn it around like that. A few decent rockets, SIB not picking up the health bubble, staying at that 72 threshold.
I don't think WHAZ either knew the timing or knew how low SIB was. Nevertheless, they both do get away, and it's pretty much a stalemate as they have relatively even stacks. WHAZ probably just in a slightly beneficial position, but he does use the piercing sight to no avail, so again...
And SIB saw it.
Exactly.
SIB clearly saw that the piercing sight had been used, so he knows his opponent doesn't have that ability to work with for another 20 seconds or so he can take some advantage of that. Will find WHAZ. The LG is coming out. Doesn't look perfect, but it'll do it in the end. SIB a 3-2 lead with just 3 minutes left on the clock.
And this is a big lead on this map, especially using Stronger Pika where you can get away, but I don't expect SIB to be too aggressive now. I just, like we said at the start, play the basics and you've definitely got this map in the bag. Doesn't commit for the Mega, which is smart, but can he hit a fadeaway rail? That's what he wants to hit here.
Yep.
But he's just going to chase. He knows WHAZ isn't got the healthiest stack in the world.
Still though, that's dangerous. SIB just pushing and taking a lot of damage. WHAZ just chasing him down, doesn't land the final rocket, and that's gonna mean...
Nice rocket.
Yeah.
This is the rail, though. That could be dangerous. WHAZ is coming through. Can he fade away? He does. They're both low. WHAZ got a lot more health, though. There is 5 seconds to go.
Nice. Good peeker coming out right there.
Yes.
That is going to slow down WHAZ a bit. Without that peeker damage, I think that WHAZ could have made a big move on Mega, but this time around it will be SIB to take it and slip away by the skin of his teeth. Here we go, WHAZ again aggressively pushing.
He is aggressively pushing, but SIB is reading these moves. There's not really a time in the last few minutes where SIB has been caught off guard, so he's definitely understanding what WHAZ wants to do, and he's taking up these good positions, just picking off WHAZ. He's actually getting a first shot quite a lot of the times. Although this time WHAZ does get that rail. You don't want to have a rail duel with WHAZ. No one really wins those. Here's WHAZ pushing in. He needs to get out of there.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that SIB is still applying pressure though, because running away against a visor, especially in this WHAZ with his rail skills on a map like this, that's not something you want to do 2 minutes ahead of time, right? Maybe for the last 30 seconds you can try and go for it.
But as you say that, WHAZ does pick up the Mega and the Heavy back-to-back without any pressure. This means it is pretty much free reign to push in. Anything, a lick of anything is going to kill him, and that's a great spot with the rocket.
Beautiful read too, absolutely. He didn't need the piercing sight for that, he just read his opponent perfectly, lands.
Oh no!
Rocket, no, WHAZ!
Oh no!
Off the map he goes with 50 seconds left on the clock. SIB is going to be smiling after that one. What even happened?
He tried to rocket jump and got railed at the same time.
Oh my goodness, WHAZ.
Off the map. I was just about to say, well, WHAZ is in a beautiful position to take this map, but suddenly SIB turns it around out of nowhere. And WHAZ has to move on as he gets hit with that direct rocket. He is low, but he knows there's only 30 seconds left, and he's got flashbacks, PTSD to corrupt to keep. He can't let SIB run. Great rocket coming out from SIB here. There is only 20 seconds left. They're both railable as SIB now just picks up enough. WHAZ is in so much trouble.
SIB had a really good opportunity to go to this side of the map because there's more resources available for him to stack up. He's even going to go for the heavy. WHAZ is above him. Yeah, perfect escapism right there.
5 seconds. Can WHAZ do anything? I tell you, Frank, anything.
No.
And that is G.
Oh, good read, but
G.
Yeah. Man. Oh, what? Dan, are we going to be wrong? Is this going to be a 3-0 for SIB?
Holy crap. That was, that's some way to lose a map. Like,
oh my god.
That's some way to lose a map. When you come from behind, and SIB was playing really well, just to be fair to him, right? WHAZ has managed to keep in the game that whole time. He's managed to then get back control. He had a full stack. He couldn't have been any stronger. He had SIB on the ropes. And to die like that, oh man. That would tilt the hell. I would break a mouse. I would definitely break a mouse.
If he,
particularly one of the little, you know, the little holy ones now, that would just crumble like some sort of Egyptian mummy.
I don't doubt it, man. But right now, like, that's something that's gonna haunt you, right? If WHAZ loses and he drops out of the Quake Pro League, he's going to be thinking
because of that frag.
About that frag.
Yeah, you didn't see it, right? So it's gonna be in a second here.
Oh man,
it was glorious.
I blinked and oh no. Okay, well, you all saw it. You can rewind yourself, but man,
really bad. It caused him his death. But after there, you said there was good scouting. There was that one from the Mega where he did enough damage to WHAZ, like full 75, to keep him away from committing for the kill. So you don't realize how important these small moves are as we move on. Blood Run, which is what I would have considered the home map from WHAZ, particularly with the saw lag. That gives him the best of all worlds, right? He has a huge stack. He's got huge speed. He can do absolutely everything. So this is the map. I think WHAZ can take it back to a 2-1.
It's also a matchup that it's not something you see all that often, right? You very no, and he hits the tail too. Down you go, SIB starting perfectly. My God.
What we haven't talked about, however, is Athena.
Yeah.
Because I love this champion, and if you can play Athena, I mean, you can just destroy people. It does.
Oh, yeah.
It can achieve feats that no one else can.
There's not a lot of players who play her at the absolute best level, but it
Exactly,
looks like SIB might actually be shaping up to be one of them. You've got to be careful though. 4 points of health. That won't stop even if you've got the heavy. And down he goes. And that's what I was going to say at the very start. This is a matchup we don't see all that often. You very often see lights versus mediums or mediums versus heavy, but light versus heavy, that's a nice rail as well. There's such a big stack difference that SIB, even when he picks up like a major item, WHAZ off the spawn can still basically take him on.
Exactly. I'm not a when I'm playing. I'm not a fan of picking a light champion against a heavy champion, no matter what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you can outmaneuver them, and that's like your biggest strength. But as you say, if you take a bad shot or whatever it is, you're never in favor. And particularly against a Sorlag who is so quick, particularly when playing someone like WHAZ, you're always under pressure. And so your positional game has to be on point.
It would be a bit different if he was playing up against, like, say, a scale bearer or maybe a keel, because they don't have the same kind of mobility and speed that Sorlag can bring.
Sorlag is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even if you can, like, hook away from her, she just rocket jumps and races around the corner with that air control.
No, she doesn't care. She's just going to fly at you all day.
Absolutely.
That's what WHAZ is going to do. So it's really scary. We saw how much pace WHAZ wanted to put on the first map. He tried it on the second. Can he make it work on the third?
So far, so good. That stack advantage is enormous. SIB, I think the rail is going to be an important weapon for SIB, right? Doing that 90 peak damage, just quick in and out, and then just taking down your opponent bit by bit before you've got the opportunity to steal an item. That's what he's got to work on.
100%. It's going to be a lot of spam, tri-bot, rockets around those corners, and then keeping your distance with the rail. But as we said earlier, like SIB cannot let WHAZ have a free map. You can't afford against a champion, a heavy champion in particular, to let them get up that stack, because then the momentum builds. And it's almost inevitable that at some stage you're going to succumb to that pressure. You need to make sure you're keeping on top of these timings, just like that, perfect. Getting in these long range positions to deal enough damage where even if WHAZ now picks up the item, it doesn't matter. And WHAZ is forced to rocket jump in even to get it. Amazing job by SIB. So he needs to keep that up, and this is why it's so difficult now, because that is the type of strategy he needs to keep up for the full 10 minutes. Perfect. WHAZ is on the back foot. Yeah. Clean heavy armor. Great play from SIB.
Perfect. That is like textbook out of control play. Playing the distance game, landing the tribal, doing the rail damage when it's necessary, and WHAZ is actually still railable. I don't think SIB knows exactly how low WHAZ is right now.
Absolutely. Still. But on the flip side, we have seen WHAZ play quite reckless today, but this is one of the maps we've seen notoriously throughout the Quake Pro League that WHAZ can play a perfect game on. It's such a classic map, and WHAZ is such an old school dueler. He knows how to play this map like the back of his hand, and that's why we see a really great defensive game coming out of WHAZ so far. SIB pushing in, but understands not to do too much pressure. It's just enough to keep WHAZ away. Great royal as well.
Also excellent to force out the spit right there. He knows that WHAZ doesn't have that in his arsenal for at least another half a minute. It's going to be able to take that down a little bit by using the hourglasses, but still, this is an interesting situation, right? You don't expect to see an Athena outstack a sword like this consistently, and another suicide coming out of WHAZ. SIB tying things right back up, 1-1.
This is a completely different SIB we saw to game one, where he looked temperamental. He wasn't getting on the major items. He wasn't doing enough pressure on the map. This is a much better player than we saw in the game one, and so we can see him settle down into his groove, and it's done wonders for his confidence so far.
Good use of the hook though, wow.
He's going to push in as well. Nearly got the flick rail, just a little bit quick.
And that's just one of Athena's many strengths, right? Just out of nowhere, your opponent think, oh, she's way back there, she's way around the corner, there's nowhere she's gonna come back. Whoop, there you go, flying through the doorway and going for the cheeky rail. Didn't connect, but still lots of damage coming out. SIB knows this is the one. 2-2-1.
Yep, another perfect use of the grapple there, just for the close range shotgun finish. And as you say, it's so non-traditional. You just don't know what Athena's going to do. So you can't take a fight unless you're 100% confident in your ability to maintain your stack. But at the same time, Athena could just put on pressure out of nowhere, as he does mess up the first one that we've seen today.
Yep, little fumble.
And and that means WHAZ gets away with a heavy armor. The small things do stack up though, so needs to be careful.
WHAZ seems to have a good idea of where he is too. SIB takes a bad rail, and even now he's still going to be railable. He's got to use some of the hooks to get himself to safety. Mega is up, looks like WHAZ is in the better position to take it, and now there's one stacked lizard on SIB's tail.
And I mean, we've been speaking about how well SIB has been playing, how much damage he's been doing, which is completely right, but it's only 2-1. It feels like a bigger lead than that. WHAZ, this time, again, as you say, stacked. Not going to be waiting for nobody.
SIB does get himself the small armor right here, though. He's going to hear the jump pad being used, playing a defensive game, but there's still 4 minutes to go. That's a lot of minutes if you're running away from a sword like with a stack as small as Athena's.
Yeah, it's a lot of minutes, you're completely right. But it's also not a lot of time if you're the one chasing it, feels like. SIB has done a great job so far of containing his difference. He is stuck down, but does push through that confidence. WHAZ not expecting him to come through so quickly.
No, not at all. WHAZ was expecting him to maybe try and heal up in the blood pool, get rid of that spit, but SIB was just absolutely merciless, pushing through right there. But look at the stack. Oh, that would have been a sick angle to hit.
But as well as he did in the first 3 or 4 minutes when WHAZ has control, he's not been able to have a footprint on the map so far. And this is why we see WHAZ's health and armor is through the roof. So SIB needs to play these angles. Look at this perfect positioning where he's got 2 angles to get out, and WHAZ is always going to be the one that's in danger if he pushes in. So we're not going to see SIB make a move on the map until he's confident he's hit 1 or 2 rails.
Yeah. His strategic plays have been really good though. That's what we were talking about at the very start, right? If SIB is going to take this, he's going to out-strategize his opponent, is going to outthink WHAZ, and so far SIB's defensive play is out of control. Style has been perfect, just staying away from his opponents, using those hooks expertly to avoid all the unnecessary damage.
But at the same time, 1 rail per 2 major items isn't enough. He needs to do a little bit more, I feel anyway, to keep chipping away at WHAZ. I completely understand why he's not able to get out on the map, and at least he's not taking any damage himself at the moment. It's fine, because he's forcing WHAZ into situations to attack. But as you can see here, WHAZ has the pace, and if you're not hitting those initiating shots, you're going to die. So,
but on the other hand, time is ticking down slowly. We've got a little over 2 minutes left to go. SIB might be eyeing up that clock, thinking, you know, maybe I can just do it. But the rails from WHAZ, that's going to change his mind. He knows he still needs to have a presence on the map.
Exactly, and he is a light champion, so he is now in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have enough to get out as WHAZ is going to push in. Can he get through that teleporter? That's all he needs right now. WHAZ takes quite a lot of damage though. Yeah, actually. And surprisingly not pushing through. I think, again, learning the mistakes of perhaps maps 1 and 2, realizing 2 minutes is still enough.
I don't know about that one though. That really felt like it should have spelled the end for SIB. That should have been 2-2, but he somehow managed to get out. WHAZ building his stack back up, probably confident in his ability to hunt SIB down.
But all it takes at this point is 2 rails. SIB hasn't got enough of a stack, but that's a great fadeaway rail. SIB can't even get a light armor at the moment. He really needs something. And WHAZ has found him. But look at the hook!
So now he's out. He doesn't have any more. Does WHAZ know this? I don't think so.
That's the power of Athena.
Yeah. Man, this is pretty new meta, I feel like. Athena on this map, just to get away from your opponents that quickly. Not something you see all that often, but SIB making it work.
No, and I think we'll see a lot more Athena in this LAN event, as it is a rather new champion to the meta. I'm sure more and more players have been looking to master her. She can bring stuff out, but we've only got 50 seconds left now, so pressure is on WHAZ and pressure is on SIB. Either one makes a mistake, it's going to be game over.
Absolutely, WHAZ, this is his final shot of retaining his spot. He's got 40 seconds to do something to make anything happen at all, and meanwhile SIB, he's starting to taste victory. Half a minute, staying alive, that's all it'll take for him to get back into the Pro League. Takes a bad rail, can't get out. WHAZ, aggressive push, somehow doesn't hit any damage. SIB gets out, 60 points of health. WHAZ, can he still do anything? He knows he has to go. He can't take it slow anymore. 3 HP, and SIB lands the rocket. Oh my god, WHAZ calling the GGs. How? ZSX, how? Speechless.
Well played, SIB. That was, again, a masterclass in defensive performance. Like WHAZ, again, learning mistakes in map 1. Didn't want to pressure too much, and as you said on that one teleporter fight, that was probably a more applicable moment to go in. But nevertheless, like map 2 died to a random ass rail.
Yeah.
Map 3 somehow doesn't hit any fadeaway damage in either one of those aggressive pushes, and SIB walks away with, for us, an unexpected 3-0, but nevertheless, a well-deserved victory.
Absolutely, your SIB Raw, you heard it here first. He is back in the Quake Pro League, and deservedly so. A 3-0 victory, can't contend with that. I think WHAZ has a bit of thinking to do. I think there's so many things that just, like the stars didn't align for him, right? The missing the exit damage, the rail, the messed up rocket jump, oh.
I mean, it's one of those games, right? It's a 3-0. And every single one of those maps, it could have been a 3-0 to WHAZ on another day.
Yeah.
There were so many fights where SIB survived right on the crunch with 3-5 health, like every single map, and it was all down to the wire. So another day it could have been a WHAZ 3-0, but it was not today.
Yeah, no, today it was all about SIB. Congratulations, we've got SIB back in the Pro League.
What a matchup. I feel like obviously everyone was very much in the favor of WHAZ. That's not what's happened. The storyline has been flipped. SIB has literally come in, flipped the table, absolutely smashed it, and his eyes are set on that belt. Let's take it from start to finish. Let's open up with the opening map. What was your initial thoughts? Did you think this is a bit of a blip? This isn't going to be the full story?
I thought it was chaos.
Okay.
I mean, I personally thought that WHAZ wasn't showing respect to SIB on map 1. Like, we obviously understand that WHAZ is hugely aggressive and enjoys to play like that, but there were just so many situations where it was reckless to the point of what the hell are you doing? And he did tone that down, but SIB didn't look entirely confident either. I think he was a bit rattled perhaps by the way WHAZ was playing, and he didn't have enough of a presence on the map, he felt. But he came away with the 5-4 victory in the end, and that was enough to see him through.
Would you agree, Flea, in the sense that it looked like after map 1, it was almost as if like the weight had been lifted from SIB. You could see him play so much more confidently. It seemed really like a night and day difference. Did you feel the same?
Absolutely, we said it during Molten Falls 2, right? We said this is a different SIB. You can tell the confidence, it's all different. He's playing a really clever game, using the peeker in all of these innovative ways, just zoning, scouting. I mean, it was a different SIB. Obviously, he was feeling good after that first win. He carried it through, and I think that momentum just kept on building into map 3 as well, right? Even when it's a win, kind of based on something like that rocket jump with sand mass flying off the map, it still boosts you as a player, so SIB just ran with it beautifully.
And there was numerous times that we saw the nuances of SIB's strategy come through. We said at the start, like, his strategy is going to beat the brawn, right?
Yep.
And there was things like we saw the quick kill back there, with the change to the tribal, the Athena grappling into the shotgun finish. These are small things that a more finely tuned, rounded player will do, whereas WHAZ was just looking to brawl. And ultimately, there was the strategy and the positioning from SIB that saw him through in a lot of these situations.
I think that's the one crazy takeaway, right? Is obviously the entire time we were basically saying how WHAZ's experience and mechanical skill should be what gives him the edge. But I feel like in reality, what we've seen here today is that was flipped. WHAZ was trying to really play aggressive, going for those fights, and literally win it off of his combat skills, where instead SIB was playing so smart, weapon prioritization was ridiculously on point. It just felt like his mechanics were on another level.
100%. It nullified what WHAZ was trying to do, and he wasn't afraid to alter his playstyle and go toe-to-toe with WHAZ, particularly on Blood Run. We saw him taking up much better positions, always hitting the opening round.